Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
I pray that my love for you is bigger than what my parents have.
So you must be my daughter's new friend?
Candy, let me ask you a question.
Oh, so this him? This the man that comforts you more than me?
Mama, all men ain't like daddy.
That's not fair!
The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
Rise and grind, wanna show at 9:15 a.m. Monday through Friday, great conversation, guest appearances, cause you experience us on the cusp of blowing up. Boom. Wake up, wake up. Rise and grind, morning show.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Sweat Hotel. What's up? Welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show, y'all. You know we do this every Monday through Friday. You know what time it is. I'm Miles Dixon. I'm your host for today. Our other host, she's flying in. She called an Uber helicopter, so we just waiting for airspace to give her clearance. But right now, we just chilling. I went to the gas station today. My gas station chronicle's kind of different because I didn't even go get gas today. I just went to go try to get me a cup of coffee. Then I thought to myself, I said, listen, Miles, you're 53. You talking about your health kick and all that. Why are you gonna go to a gas station and get your coffee and you're gonna pour shit? Yep. And you're gonna pour another broke one. Shani down 0-2. You know, and she thinks she's where she thinks she's gonna fix it. She's not, ladies and gentlemen. We already know this. So anyway, she's just not gonna do it. So I've been thinking, like, if I got coffee at the office, why don't I just fix coffee at the office instead of wasting money? Some people are like, well, that's not a waste of money if you're gonna get what you want to get, and that's not true. Really, I'll be wasting money, so I can't make my own coffee. But on the way, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab me some fruit. I got me some fruit. I got me a plum, and I got me some watermelon. And I got the watermelon because I'm like, I need to start eating more healthier anyway. Because if I don't, you know the outcome. I'm tired of aching and paining, so I'm no longer be aching and paining. Hopefully everything go right. I'm gonna stick to what I'm doing and keep doing what I'm doing. I ain't gonna say I'm going vegan. I ain't gonna say I'm on the diet. I'm just gonna eat the lifestyle I need to eat in order for me to live. Okay, is that good enough? All right. So, gas station chronicles cut out, and they might be cut out unless I'm just getting gas. Because speaking of gas, hopefully the helicopter can land with Lake. No pun intended. So the truth is, I really be going to the gas station like to get that that machine that's not going to work, sweetie. Jesus, we got 3 legs and we got 2. It just ain't gonna work. Wake up. Anyway, those machines got that hot chocolate in them gas stations, and that hot chocolate be good. You hear me? So it's going flappity Flappity.
Okay, my plane
Yeah.
landed.
Yeah, thank you. You heard me? Okay. I'm glad.
I'm like, let me go save him. Hurry up, pilot. Let me get off this Uber plane.
Yeah, Uber helicopter.
Uber helicopter.
It's called Uber Heli. Heli Uber.
Hella Uber. We just made up something.
Yep.
Now we just got to get the money for it.
No, I want you to get your breath. Hold on, get your breath. Okay. You nasty. Anyway,
So why are you getting coffee at the gas station? I think we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I said grow up.
Well, I grew up and I grew out because the whole thing was, I appreciate the fact that y'all Lake Butler here.
Hey,
did
y'all miss me?
Hell no.
Oh shit, they like this. The numbers started going up.
Yeah.
Oh, I love you. I love her.
I love you too. She want to talk about
That's hers your new pronoun?
Okay. Ooh, that was so disrespectful.
Was it? I said I love her, and you said I love you too. Like, hey.
Why they be doing these hoax videos about Simon dead?
Why are you on Facebook when you should be here with me now?
I am logging in with you right now. Matter of fact, some people just fell off because they said Lake just came on. I'm leaving.
Okay, well.
Overall, shout out to Monique.
It tracks. Who is that?
That's mine. Breon Nicole said, no Lake, go home. No, I'm just joking. Shout out to Breon Nicole. Thanks for checking in. Listen, but I know what you said. It's not... Listen, I can do what I want to. Like, I'm 53.
Absolutely. You can absolutely do what you want to do. What was your point in saying that?
Because you going to tell me Mama going to the gas station for coffee.
I just never got people who got coffee from the gas station. I just like, do you know if they clean the machine? I just see mice poop in gas station coffee machines.
What's that town you live in?
I live at 6 and 75. Y'all know that?
Damn. Oh, yeah. You going to see.
Y'all know that.
What side of town? East side light.
Me and Lake live closer now.
Yeah.
So.
All you gonna see is mice poop over there.
No,
anyway.
that's what side of town do you live on?
I live on Finkel. I live on Dexter.
So you think that the coffee got better over there? I doubt it. The gas stations didn't even get better over there.
You go take a picture of your coffee machine, and I take a picture of my coffee machine. I bet it's cleaner than yours.
Okay.
Y'all's not even on.
I'm not even looking inside.
You know what, Shani, I heard that.
I have a Keurig.
What?
So I make my coffee per cup at the crib.
Oh, hold on. You had a Keurig. Oh, damn, that's bold. Is you okay? Anyway,
I got a Keurig. Okay, yeah, I get it. Well, I do. I'm experiencing some.
I was about to say something after she was like, "Oh, I get it. I get it."
The bad part is you eating grapes.
It ain't gonna be no better. I thought about that when I went.
And it's black grapes.
Is that gonna make the shit worse?
Yeah.
Get it? The shit worse. Okay. Just so people know, full disclosure. We like to talk about health, and we like to be honest with people. So I have a severe chronic gastritis situation, which is sometimes exacerbated by stress, and that's the number one thing. And the last couple of weeks have been extremely stressful.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
And it's part of life.
Right.
Yeah.
When you know your health issues, then you need to make sure that you're making conscious decisions to keep those things under control.
Right.
Luckily, it's crazy because it hasn't affected my blood pressure because of the exercising and the eating habits change. Mm-hmm. But when you are stressed, people, it produces more acid in the stomach lining. So if you have any ulcers, IBS, or gastritis issues, look into that and know how to get back and meditate and get yourself back in line on what needs to be done, because the stress is not going to stop. You know what I mean? It's really not.
It's what you're doing, how you cope with it.
It's what you do and how you cope with it.
I like to say shout out to you, for pointing out that stress won't stop. However, stress really can stop.
Okay.
You just have
What,
to.
a bullet?
Okay, I was gonna say I'm a lady.
No. No.
You're just gonna get new levels brings on new stress.
Well,
so you may not have had the same stress, but
Well, that's why I've been learning. Like, the more you build up your body, right? It's the same thing. As you increase your exercise regimen, you might ache for a minute, but it's for all the good. And what I'm saying, that stress, I know somebody who, if they stress out, I wouldn't ever want to be around because they going bazonkers. He's so mild mannered. I remember his mother had just passed. I mean, I'm talking about like an hour and a half. I called him. He said, "Excuse me, good brother, but my mother just passed. She's in the room and I'm about to go clean her up. I'll call you when I get done." What the fuck? No, take your time, bro. You know what I mean? I'm like, take your time. You know what I mean? No rush. I just got a couple questions. Don't worry about it. And I realized, but he's one of those people, like, for 27 years of us knowing each other, he don't let nothing bother him. And even I said, "Bro, you stressed out?" He said, "No, I'm not stressed out. I did my meditation. I prayed, and I come to grips with what I'm dealing with."
And I pray to be one of those people. I'm emotional Pisces, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he's not a Pisces. He's probably an Aquarius.
He's a Scorpio.
All right. Well, then he's lying. Like he's just unfazed.
That'll do it. Hey, Britt.
One of the things,
Two Britneys is listening.
yeah,
Brittany
my cousin Brittany and my little sis, because I told them, whoever, I'm gonna be piecing. I'm about to piece these guys up over my Brittany Chanel, my BC.
You seen her yesterday on the show or something?
I told you that I was having stomach issues yesterday. I ain't stop asking me. I'm failing this quiz.
He like, you was here yesterday. You tuned in.
Did I say I was gonna watch all day Monday? Like, you watch a Big Flex just
that was your dedicated day. Like,
but I love people who have learned how to manage their stress.
Yes.
And I pray to God to be one of those people, but like, some things you can't control. Like, I had 5 shoots last week, which is very uncommon when I'm holding a full-time job who also had 3 events going on.
Yeah.
Usually my schedule's not like that. So it was 8 different situations where I had to be present and good and on point because 1 out of the 7 failing was me failing.
Gotcha.
You know, when you do what I do, especially when you're responsible for people's remarkable moments.
Gotcha.
yeah.
You know what I mean? If I fail, it doesn't matter if the other 2 events was good. You know, if you screw up grandma's 85th birthday party because you didn't schedule right or this, that, and the other.
Because she might not see another one, but go ahead.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Level of priority at that point. Yeah.
So, but you absolutely right. Yoga, meditation, whatever you can do. Yes, this is Smokey Bear.
He's like,
His middle name is not he doesn't have a middle name. It's just Smokey Bear. But yes, you like it?
Monique said it reminds her of her childhood.
That's so good.
No. Shani, that's so good.
Shani don't even know who Smokey the Bear is.
Smokey Bear. It's no the.
She just said it was no.
Shani like Smokey Bear. Yeah. Yep, I seen him. He part of the Berenstain Bears.
Do you know who Smokey Bear is?
No. No, just say no.
Not the full in-depth situation. I've heard of him before.
It's not no in-depth thing. The motherfuckers that stop fires. You know what I mean?
That's all he does.
People make him seem like he's bigger than what he is then.
No, he's big.
You see what I've heard of
What do you mean bigger than what he is? Like, he bigger than Mickey Mouse, my knee.
Is he?
No.
I was about to say, like, is he? Yeah. I don't know.
Let's go to the topic of the day.
Smokey.
Why you laughing, Smokey Bear?
Yeah, I mean, he cool. I've heard of him.
How police brutality affects families and communities.
Oh Lord, damn.
We need a Smokey the police officer.
We need to smoke key to police officers.
Put on fires.
You know what?
So how police? I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
Sure.
When we talk about. No, I'm gonna rewind even farther than that since we have 2 hours.
It would be further.
I said, Father.
Father.
You just let me be and let you listen and don't judge. The fuck. This is not English class. I didn't come here for that.
You just can't be running.
I didn't come here for that.
Not today.
Not today.
That's why I eat boiled peanuts. I told you I'm a little Southern. Let me be. Okay, so I want to take it back to the first situation that I heard of police brutality, and I think the very first time was Malice Green. Was Malice Green before
yes.
Rodney King?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm a little girl, so I don't have a deep connection to what's going on, but this man was beaten and killed by the police officers, and by me being an early 80s baby, I didn't experience the riots and everything that was going on with civil rights. So this was like scary as a kid, knowing that police kill people.
Yeah.
And there was no images or anything. So for you, Miles, because you got me by a few years, so that story may be more vivid for you.
Yes. They had actual showed the blood that was on the pavement and on the wall.
Okay.
That's what left me like, whoa.
They showed that on the news?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You could probably Google it and see it. But I didn't know he was beat by 2 white police officers.
He was. Right.
2 white police officers. And back in the day, going into the 80s, we had a thing called the Big Four.
Right.
The Big Four.
I remember that.
But as Coleman stopped cleaning up the streets with racist ass white police officers, that's when you start making it. If you didn't live in Detroit, you can't be a Detroit police officer or a fireman. You know what I mean?
Any city official had to live in the city at the time. And just so, Shani, so you know, the Big Four was literally 4 cops that rode around in the car, and they had the fear of God for people in the neighborhood. I do remember that. I was pretty young, so I wasn't getting in trouble, but I remember when people would be like, the Big Four coming through. Big Four.
Right.
Yeah.
So question, was it a Big Four for every city? Or
No,
it was just these 4 police officers. They was the Big Four.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had 2 sprinters. I mean, not cars. They had 2 people that could run fast. That was in the back seats at all times.
Thank you.
They had the driver and they had the shooter. So when I say shooter, they was the ones who, like, hey, hold on, don't move, and get out the car slowly. There was 9 times out of 10, there was bigger people. You know what I mean? But the 2 runners was in the back seat to get out. Go get whatever they needed to get. But they drove through the neighborhood slow like this.
Just looking for stuff.
Well,
it was stuff to look for.
Yeah.
I mean, they served their purpose, and they did bring law and order. But for me, we didn't know that cops were killing people because they are here to protect and serve. So even when I heard the story of Malice Green, the imagery may have been there. I do not remember, but I do remember them trying to demean who he was as a man. Like he was a drug addict, and he pretty much, the media made it seem as though he deserved it. Okay. So me being a young kid, I'm like, okay, well, if you're a bad person, then maybe the police kills you. Right. So then I want to fast forward. My next situation would be Rodney King. That was that 92? I can fact check it real quick.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to think of where I was in life and when we seen the video, because it was on every news outlet.
Okay.
It was like 90, like the end of 92, I think, because Malice Green. It happened right after Malice Green's situation.
1991.
Okay.
March 3rd, 1991. He was severely beaten by officers of the Los Angeles Police Department during his arrest after a high-speed pursuit for driving while intoxicated. So that is what they tried to focus on, driving while intoxicated. You know, so you have this other person.
Cause, yeah.
But now we have this VHS tape that has gone wild. You think bitches went wild? This motherfucking tape went wild, and
Malice Green actually died after
King. So maybe that's why Malice Green was a bigger deal, because it was like, okay, they doing it again, but we didn't get a chance to see the imagery. Was that 92?
92.
Okay,
he died November 5th, 1992.
So Rodney King in 91. I was in 8th grade. No, I would have been in 7th grade in 91 in March. And I'm pretty mature, 11, 12 years old. And no, I was going on 12 because that would have been a few days before my birthday. That was fearful. But the crazy part about it is we couldn't even believe it was real the way they beat that man.
Right.
It was a comedy special.
Yeah.
Remember the comedy special? I think
hold on. Boom. When they was beating them, they started saying, hold on, wait a minute. It was Mad TV.
I think it was and I was gonna say I think Tommy Davidson did something on his special.
I do know that Mad TV did do the little skit.
Mad TV did it. Mad TV did a skit too.
Okay. She said that Kim Worthy was still prosecuting people. So she was on the Malice Green case. Brittany, did she get them convicted in that case?
Yeah.
Because I think what affected the community with Rodney King, and I would be surprised if Kim Worthy did get them prosecuted, because in Rodney King's case, they did not prosecute them, and it affected the community. I mean, they burnt Los Angeles down. So
for the verdict, hell yeah,
they burnt it down.
There wasn't any justice. Yeah,
they tore that motherfucker up. People start breaking in their own house.
Right. But I was gonna say, like, not trying to be funny, because this has become a cultural issue since those riots. Is how many people rolled into town that didn't live in the area to destroy that area, just so they could be a part of the movement. Yeah. But
definitely will, Britt. Thank you.
So we definitely F around and destroy our own community when we're upset.
Yeah.
And that is, it's a sad place to be.
Do you feel like that's how people actually hear us? Because you know how they say that they expect us to be loud, rambunctious and things like that. Do you feel like that's when we're really heard, unfortunately?
No, I don't think we're heard at all. Okay. I think, me personally, and my opinions is not the opinions of the station, but I honestly believe we look like clowns, and it gives people outside of the community the opportunity to act like clowns, because we're going to go down this timeline, but it got worse where people just wanted to be a part of destroying something. So you're in the inner city, just like Detroit. Detroit is still burnt down from 67. You know what I mean? Like, and all the white people did that was still here, that was their out. Yeah. And as time progressed, when Coleman Young was fighting for those service people to be able to, you got to live in the city, to work in the city, to get paid by the city, you got to pay city taxes, then who came behind him? Was it Archer? And threw all that shit away. If it wasn't Archer, somebody can interrupt me, but immediately we have a caller. What up, caller?
Hi, yes, I was calling about the topic of the day about police brutality.
Yes.
Yes, I was calling because, I was a kid during that time when Malice Green was beaten, and, the man, he was on drugs, and all, and, basically, when I got pulled over, and I want to say like 93, the cops took me to the east side.
Wow.
Pulled my pants down, and they sucked my dick.
Well, if they sucked your penis, what shift was it? Was it on first, second, or third shift?
Oh, I know. I enjoyed it.
Oh, well, by you enjoying it,
Did they hang up?
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, and that works. I don't. What do you say? Shut up.
I said sure.
No, these people just don't be having anything to do.
But it's okay. I mean, the reality of it is, there's a lot of abuse that go on, and sometimes people need to express themselves because something else is going on, and they just have to say something or be a part of something, which is fine. You know.
What I learned is, at first, if the caller was telling the truth, there has been instances where men and women has been pulled over and been took to the other side of town that were raped. And if you were one of those people to be raped, my heart goes out to you. But if you
absolutely,
but if you're one of those people who's playing, thinking it's a joke and it's funny, it's not, because there's some people who has been affected by things like that. I get it. If you want to joke, we don't mind having our giggles and shits and giggles and stuff like that. But if you're a person who's been molested like that by city officials who we serve, who's supposed to serve us, we would like to know. But if you're playing, it's not funny. But I would get the humor in it if we would lighten up the mood, and not be.
And this is not a game.
And not today is not today.
And I think, when you talk about affecting families and communities and things of that nature, I remember getting pulled over on the east side right after Kwame was elected. And it was 2 police cars, 4 white men. And they pulled me over. And, I'm young, so I don't know how to get home safe. Because my question is, why is this necessary? Why would you think it was okay for 4 white men to pull over 1 little black girl? And why you bullshitting? I was afraid that they was going to take me someplace else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because this was, and then they were making like real racial comments about Kwame being the mayor and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, where does that leave me in this situation now? I was on Nevada, right down the street from that precinct right there.
Oh, yeah.
But Nevada was dark at the time, say this is...
It's still dark.
But not as dark. They fixed a few lights. Look, we coming up. That's my neighborhood. Yeah. We got better coffee than you do. But the way my heart pounded in that moment was part of the effects of the brutality that has been going on through years. So
now, do you have that same feeling now, or do you feel like you are more so prepping King to be aware of
his surroundings?
Police brutality and things like that?
I probably am more afraid of being a mom of a growing black man than myself.
I hear a lot of women say that. That's why I asked that.
The other day, I swear to God, when we talk about stress and everything, I was just sitting there and I looked over at him and I literally got...
Who phone is that?
She got scared. As we talking about heart pounding.
I literally had like a wave of stress, like... Would he know just to get home safe? Because even with me, he's starting to talk too much. Because he feel like he got a point to prove and he want to say something and he has a right to say something.
But hold on, like I don't mean to cut you off because I don't know if you this parent, but a lot of parents teach their children, no, express yourself, say what's on your mind, and do that, right? And I think parents need to say there's a time and place to express yourself.
That's true.
Because no matter what, because a child feels if I could talk to my mother, I should be able to talk to a police officer.
Right.
And so it been situations recently that happened in the past few years. The guy was like, I'm just trying to prove my point. And there ain't no point to prove when a nigga got a gun on you.
Right.
And he got the right. And if he feel like he's in danger, he has the right to shoot.
Absolutely.
So there's no time to prove your point. Shut up. You don't have to comply like that, but just be quiet and listen. Because sometimes I've been put over a few times. I was like, I trying to explain he said, listen, man, I ain't trying to look, don't worry about it. Let me see me your registration, your license registration.
Do you feel that fear now?
Hell yeah. I mean, any black man is going to feel that fear.
I'm just saying because when I'm around, I know my stuff is legit and things, so I don't fear. Like I can be on the side of the police, in front, behind.
But you don't know.
I don't fear.
But you don't. Here's one thing I learned. It's the difference with I'm gonna bring up airplane pilots, right? And police officer. A police officer having a bad day. he can hurt you.
Oh yeah.
An airplane pilot, he got a co-pilot, so if that he feel like committing suicide, no, that co-pilot got your back. You know what I mean? So you got some safety. With police officers, you never know how they woke up on the side of the morning.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, you can remind them of somebody they wife cheated with, or they lover cheated. I mean, it's just so much stuff that goes on with cops with mentality. And the best thing for you to do is listen to, so you can understand how to respond with the proper temperament that keep you safe.
Yeah.
Because my boy Greg, father was a police officer.
Yeah, they just be looking for reasons.
He pulled me over. He said, "Oh, goddamn, Doc, what the fuck are you drunk?" I'm like, "I am." He was like, "Man, what the fuck wrong, you stupid motherfucker? Look, give me the bottle. Pour the shit out." He said, "Now get the fuck on," right? And I was like, "I'm going to get a ticket." He said, "Dumbass, go home." You know what I mean? And he made me realize, like, all cops are not bad.
No, I don't think all cops are bad at all. But what I do think is that if you were a fucking coward in high school, you're more than likely to become a cop. That's
interesting.
That's a good judgment.
Yeah,
and
so that's interesting.
I have, and this is from personal experience. Like, I know a guy from high school right now, like, we spent 4 years in high school. I've seen you as a cop over the years, but then now you want to ask me who I am. Like, you done been on my block a couple of times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the lady had died in the lawn next door to us. And he came over like, back up.
In the lawn?
Yeah, she passed away in the lawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I say lawn?
No, you're fine. I just wasn't gonna ask.
She died. She was in the grass, like foaming at the mouth, like the grass. She was in the.
I'm sitting there like, people just don't say, "Oh yeah, they died on the front lawn."
This one did, and then when he pulled up, he like, back up, and I'm like, is that you? Like, why you yelling like that? You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody did nothing wrong.
He just control.
Right, and every time I've seen him,
that's a lot of what people do. And I feel like women officers have to be more tough because they are women, and people may not take them seriously. I feel like they can be more hardcore than the men,
and unnecessarily hardcore though.
Yes,
women officers be unnecessarily harder and tough for communities, okay? When they know. See, you gotta remember, police officers, they still have a lot of data on what we don't see. You know what I mean? So if they come into a situation which we don't know, they got so many codes on the areas that they go in. You know what I mean?
Hey, caller.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? It's Brittany.
Hey.
Hey, so I think the topic is super dope. I just wanted to say I do agree with what Miles said with the cops. Like, sometimes, even though, like, you're mad, you get pulled over, it's like, why are they pulling me over? Sometimes, like, just being quiet and listening is way more safer than arguing, going back and forth.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah. And I always kind of teach people, especially, like, younger people and young black dudes, like, just be quiet.
Right.
Because sometimes a lot of us don't really know the law, and they can ask questions. You don't always have to answer them. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're detained, or then, like, when arrest and all of that stuff come. But if you're just calm, like, you learn to be calm and just kind of listen and be careful, 9 times out of 10, they kind of let you go. Is when they really kind of start throwing their weight around, is when you want to start arguing and going back and forth and doing all those types of things. Because you already kind of fearful. Anytime you see those lights, it's an immediate, like, oh, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes they do bother you, and you're not doing anything. And it's like, man, why you put me over? But the goal is get home.
Yeah. And another thing, it ain't always for. This is what I told people. I used to make a joke and say, yeah, when police pull black men over, they thinking about, we be thinking about, we need to stay alive. When women get pulled over, they're like, damn, it's gonna go points on my license. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's everybody.
Sometimes that's the case, and then sometimes they're actually harassing black women. So
right.
It really kind of depends. Like, I agree with what Lake said. If you get somebody that was a nobody in high school, people get a little power, then they get a little power struck. So the best thing anybody can do is just be quiet.
Yeah, and listen.
You know what I mean?
And listen to their temperament. If they coming off outside like, hey, you ain't see me? You ain't see you just drove right past me? You be like, no, honestly, sorry, I didn't.
And another thing that I want to tell people too, make sure you get their names and badge numbers.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
that's something that you're supposed to do. But I just wanted to add that my 2 minutes is up, so I'll keep listening.
Thank you.
All right, see y'all.
And one thing I learned was women, y'all actually have more power when y'all driving than most men do, right? I was driving with a friend. I'll never forget him, Akiba. He was driving. We was going down Second, about to go on Lodge off of Grand River. Police put us over. He rolled down. He said, roll down the window. She said, oh, it's rolled down. It was maybe like an inch. He was like, get out the car. She said, no. Get out the car. He reached for her handle. And then the other police officer came over mine, and she locked the door. So she said, open the door. She said, you get out the car, your ass on your own. I said, what? This is the police. She said, I don't give a damn. Do I smell weed? She said, yes, you do. I smoke marijuana. And she was like, she said, do you mind, what did you stop me for? Because your headlight, your tail light, something like was doing her lights. She was like, okay, so you can write me a ticket. I'm fine. License and registration. Okay, she showed it to her. Get out the car. She's like, I'm not getting out the car. You can write me a ticket for what you stopped me for. How we know you don't got drugs? You don't have. I don't have drugs in the car. I smoke marijuana. I have issues. I have pain. This is before the whole thing happened. And then, the lady trying to unlock my door, pulling my handle. I said, she got me locked in here. I don't know where the button is. You know what I mean? I don't.
But that's a hell of a risk to take. Yeah, I don't think I have it in me to be that person.
You never know how far it's gonna.
They be like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I'd be like, "I was speeding, sir." I mean, and that's it. 9 times out of 10, I was speeding. You know. Now if I'm drunk, that's a different thing. I got pulled over for drunk driving once, but somebody spilled a drink on me. I wasn't even drunk. So when I rolled down the window, it was like a woof of alcohol.
Wow.
So he had told me to
take a test,
count to 10 and skip 7. So I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait a minute.
Yeah, you got me there.
You got me.
Gotcha.
You said skip 7, you know. But this was a kind officer. This was over in Livonia, surprisingly.
Damn.
Right.
Lucky.
Very lucky.
A sundown city.
I was by myself, and I kept it light, and he let me go. He ended up letting me go without a ticket that one time, but that was the only situation where I was able to turn it around where he even had to chuckle, because you don't know what you're going into. Right. And I think as all these stories have gone on, I have become more fearful as a black woman than talking about the points on my license. I've already lost my license because of points. That ain't scary. Losing my life is that's the easy part.
Now, what I can say is being a female in the car, I can't say that we can de-escalate the situation. If you're with a male, if you can talk your way out of it, I do think it's more helpful. Because I've been in a situation where I've been in the passenger seat and we got pulled over, and I had to be the one to kind of talk out of the situation. So I was just calm. The focus was on me at that point, not necessarily on him. And then we were able to just, get out of the situation. But I felt like had I not have been there, it may not have went the same way.
Of course, I'll be honest with you. Women can de-escalate a lot of things in police, but they also can enhance the things.
Right.
It's a video we're about to show, right?
Yes.
I think that's what escalated a lot of that, too. In the video, you want to go to the video yet?
We're gonna go to the video. Or should we read the comments?
Read the comments, and we'll go to the
Okay, so let me take my glasses off because somebody's a little wordy, Rhea. Brittany says she learned about Melis Green in school. Call our number. Shan Mosey watched A Different World. Rodney King's story was on a part of the show.
I'm gonna watch that.
Shan was supposed to be watching A Different World 2 years ago. Go ahead.
She said Ken Worthy was the assistant prosecutor on the case. Yes, it was second-degree murder. Rhea said the 7 officers present at the scene were suspended soon after Green's death, and the city of Detroit paid a civil settlement to Green's family.
Yes. Butzel and Nevels
were convicted of second-degree murder in 1993, while charges against another officer were dropped and the fourth was found not guilty.
Yeah.
However, both convictions were overturned following retrials. Is it Butson?
Butson, yeah.
Butson was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 1998, and Nevers was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in 2000. I had to post that history on Mellis Green. Y'all know I love Google.
Yeah.
Brittany said the Good Old Boys Club, which is so true.
Yeah.
The history of police was to capture free slaves and throw them back into slavery and or kill them.
Yes.
When it comes to law officers, be quiet and carefully listen.
I don't even see that.
Tony says, good morning. Good morning, Tony.
What Tony? Tony who?
Tony Black Tone.
Good morning, Tone.
Oh, what up, though,
That's
Tom?
Tone. Good morning,
Toxic Tone.
Tony.
Tony.
Brittany said you do not have to get out the car unless there's a probable cause.
Yes.
That's why you have to listen. They can't come to your house unless you let them. They have to have a warrant.
Yes.
They'll ask, may they come in, and most people let them in. Pay attention to the questions. Some females do make it worse.
Yes.
And then Calvin reiterates that by saying the majority of the time, LOL, females make it worse.
It depends. I feel like if you don't ever volunteer information.
Well, definitely never volunteer information because it says when they read you your rights, you have the right to remain silent.
Right.
It says that.
So don't ask me a question and be like, you ain't talking?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
It says because anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it says. I mean, it says it like. So
They still be trying to get you to very much answer questions.
But I would like to. I do want to say something in regards to what Rhea said about the Malice Green case. Most people don't understand the importance of history. Me and Shanny talk all the time. The importance of history is in knowing that the Malice Green. They actually retract that because he was a drug addict. But some people are saying, well, maybe he got beat up, but if he wasn't on drugs, his body would have. You know what I mean? It's stupid shit.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You know what I mean? But that's how shit go. Prosecutor, well, listen, I tell you what, he was on drugs, right? So if you take a 218-pound man, his same age, but he was healthy and he wasn't on drugs, could he have took them hits?
Yeah, they do be coming out of the woodwork for points.
Yeah, they do.
And that be that bullshit. Let's go to this video so we can show people some of the things that we've seen with our very own in our very own community. So I think this is the reason why this video was picked, because of the topic of the day, correct?
Right.
Okay,
or vice versa.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
So let's look at it.
I want to look at it, yeah.
This shit is crazy. I'm about to show you. Bro, what is bro? Stop, bro. Y'all have no permission to search nothing, bro. Nobody can go.
I showed them my CPL.
Bro, come on, dad. Bro, he a detective, bro. Y'all get sued, bro. I got a dad detective.
I showed my CPL.
Detective.
They is really tripping. They is really tripping. They is really tripping. I got my CPO. I got my gun on me though. They just tased my brother. Hey, start the car up.
I fucking hate black people.
No, they only do this in the hood. They only do this in the hood.
Oh my God! Turn around!
Turn around! Punching me! Turn around!
Stop! Please! Why are you hitting him?
Call me, I'm bleeding. Call
his daddy. I don't know your daddy number, bro.
Call him.
Call it. Download the number. 313.
Milo, what's the number? What's up?
Hey, the car. Turn the car on. We about to move the car. They calling more units.
What the fuck? I'm getting my ass beat by the police.
This shit crazy, and she just sitting there watching.
Get out that car. Call the supervisor.
Y'all crazy. That's crazy. Lock your doors. Stop, baby. Stop. I'll stay back. They is killing my brother, dog. Don't touch my brother. Let him go.
They don't want me to say nothing on this one.
Okay, so I don't know if this deserves claps.
I just.
Listen,
do you want to go?
I definitely want to start off. First of all, if people pay attention, the boy said, I got my CPLs, I got my gun on me. You know, but then he tried, the story goes that the boy had a gun and he threw the bag in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose of his brother opening the back door to get in the back seat? He was trying to hide the gun.
Was it not already open?
No.
The back seat?
No. The front seat was open.
Okay.
He went deliberately to the back. When he said, come on, y'all, let's move out the way. They got more cops coming. Let's move out the way. He said it like, let's move. They said, no, hey, I forgot the girl's name. Lock your doors. You know what I mean? As if, what the hell? Mm-hmm. He closed the front door. That was already open when the police officer was already there, the female. And then he goes in to open the back door. What was the purpose? That's why he said, once he closed it, he said, get out that door. Lock your doors. And when the police officer told him, close that door. Don't go in that car. He closed the door. He told the girl, hey, lock your doors. Because instantly, they know it's something in that truck. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And so people,
because I wonder what was the original probable cause for this search.
They got a call. Okay.
Well, what I heard, and this is hearsay, that when the cops was riding by, they seen the young man in the back seat with the female's purse. And it was an assumption that he was breaking into. Yeah, that's why she was screaming. She was screaming. That's my purse. He was in there for me. She says that on video. Okay, but they're saying that, I don't know if that was the statement after or whatever, but they seen him in a car with a purse. Yeah, and niggas are prone to go into people's cars and take purses out.
Right. Unfortunately.
I was told that the police, that the report went that they were called to that gas station because it was reported a fight was going on. Or something was about to occur. And so what I try to tell people is we don't know. We just seen this clip, right? We don't know if the gas station attendant or somebody in nearby pumping their gas seen somebody about to get in an altercation. He said, man, shut up before I pop your ass, right? And so that's all the person that's in there.
That's all they needed. That's all they needed. To call in.
Hi, caller.
Hey, caller.
I am 38 hot. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Miss Rhea.
Let me tell y'all, this is why the black community, this is why we get jacked up so quick. I hate seeing videos like this because it riles up the community. First off, what did they stop you for?
Right.
I got questions. Everybody's so quick to jump on the bandwagon of, the police are horrible and this. No, the police are doing a job. This is their job.
Right.
So, yes, it's some crooked ones out there, but it's something that's good, and they just want to get home to their families, too.
Right.
End of the day, yeah.
So, you running around screaming, get up them, all of this. What did they stop you for? What? Call my daddy. If your daddy is a cop, you know better.
You just embarrassed your daddy. That's what you did.
You just pissed me all the way off. And this, I look at comments on this whole situation, and our community is so just dumb. No, that's dumb.
We're stupid. Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, y'all just want to jump on and I ain't saying y'all, I'm just pissed.
Right,
This is a great topic.
Right. Right.
No.
So.
Oh, go ahead.
Ms. Rhea, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Do you have anything? I don't want to cut you off.
I don't know. Y'all know my head is steaming.
Okay. I thought you was cleaning up and watching us on YouTube, and you wasn't going to be commenting.
Yeah, no, right?
In other news.
So
I stopped cleaning and everything.
You stopped texting like you did have a paragraph here. You like, let me call in.
Look, just don't sit down where the cleaning is over.
One of the things that saddens me about the whole video is I hope that's not my son.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, there's two sides of where the uproar in our community came from, but I'm going to take the first half as what we seen on video.
Exactly.
If I can't teach King anything, you're being arrested. Take the arrest. You know what I mean? Because this guy is fighting back. You talk about they choking me. Well, you're on your back. They didn't flip you on your back. You flipped over on your back.
Yep.
And now they starting to get more aggressive.
Yeah.
Because that's their training.
That had to walk away. And first off, the scene, honestly, they scared too. Because the crowd has to be detained.
Right.
You have to push people back. They're in a more dangerous situation. You telling somebody you got your CPL, I know you got a gun on you. So now, in the police officer mind,
that's why
this
she
man
got,
just said he got a gun on him.
that's why she got in the back of him.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if Tony's responding to you. But Tony, in my opinion, no, I don't think that punching him made sense. But I don't think it should have gotten to the point where he was being punched.
That's the only part I did say. I don't see why they didn't have to punch him.
Absolutely.
I do agree with that. But the way it escalated was because of him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we got to see these things for what they are. And that's what I can't stand sometimes about our community. We just say, oh, well, they was wrong. Just like the guy that got killed. Y'all remember the guy that got killed with the police on a street? They did a traffic stop or something, and they ran. But the city did a whole march that day and was like, the police injustice, and they ran up to the precinct on 7 Mile. I can't remember what year this was. But come to find out, when they released the video cam, yeah, he had a weapon. He charged at the police.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like y'all did all of this before you got all of the information. That's all I'm saying. We react without getting all of the information.
I mean, and I'm not gonna lie. So Detroit has the least counts of police brutality for major cities in the whole country.
I believe that.
So
Shanny, let me know when the line click, because I'm just holding the phone.
Okay, no, you're fine.
I'm waiting on Dorian.
we'll just say, all right then, Miss Rhea, talk to you later. But no, seriously, Detroit Police Department have the least, especially after Comey Young came into effect, right? Comey Young made things easier for black people, okay? Shout out, if you ever good Google Comey Young versus Bill Bonds TV interviews, you'd be like, damn.
Yeah, they would go in on each other.
That black man had balls, right?
Yeah, he did.
But then they go out to the bar and drink together, which was funny as hell. I think the last argument they had on TV, they actually seen him and Comey Young out having a beer. You know what I mean?
It's like me and you.
Yeah, just like
Yes.
every
That's
Tuesday.
the part. Let me say this and I'm going to get off. But that's the part that the younger generation doesn't see.
Right.
They don't understand that, yes, in person, like we have our differences, but guess what? We have to work together to get to the common good. And they don't see that part. They see people on TV or on screen just going back and forth with this beef, but not understanding. They talking behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the part people don't get. Okay, I'm about back to cleaning. I'm watching.
Okay. So one of the things that I honestly believe that we have a bad habit of doing, people, period. The fact that his father is a detective makes no sense in this situation right now. It's like Michael Jordan's son when he got pulled over. I'm Michael Jordan's son. So? In this situation right now, it does not matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what would have mattered is being arrested and going to the precinct and your father showing up.
Yeah.
And that could have been your out right then.
Exactly.
That could, because they do favors for each other all the time.
Oh, of course.
Now,
they're protected.
Now, this is the second half of the story why the community is in the uproar. It was his father's response. His father's response to this was, they were doing their job. I am law enforcement and I am not getting involved. And actually, I
think
scrolled
that was
that.
actually smart.
I mean,
But how he decided to play that.
Well, first of all,
Because it's a time and place to do everything.
Well, it's kind of fucking embarrassment, right?
Yeah, that's why he
If
chose
you-
not to get in it.
Not because you know why he chose not to get in it? Because 9 times out of 10, his son had an illegal gun.
That's probably one
But
registered.
listen,
yeah.
and I don't want to say that because everybody knows somebody. So I'm not trying to bring commotion and shit. But I ain't gonna say he had a gun. Let me use this proper term. He wasn't in the right at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to be careful, especially when we dealing with local news. We have to be careful what we say because we still are human beings, and we still walk the streets locally. So I would say, for the safety of everyone, I don't think he was in the right. That's why his own father said he's law enforcement. He didn't say I'm his father first. He said he's law enforcement.
Yeah.
So that furthers let me know that it was more to the story than what we even know and
Exactly.
think. So we could just put that there. And that's what, no, Tony, I was insinuating him hitting his father in the head. But however, hitting his son in the head was good. But however, when a police officer trying to put your hands behind your back, they got to do all extreme measures to get your hand behind your back to arrest you. I mean, to get you detained. Because you might be on drugs. We don't know. If you get detained and you calm down, you might be like, dang, man, I wasn't even in my right mind. I had a my cousin Raymond. He had fights with the police all the time to where when they get calls to my grandma neighborhood, they be like, oh shit, can 2 more of y'all come with me? You know what I mean? Because I'm about to be in the tussle with him. You know what I mean? And I always would think it would be a police officer that killed him because he literally just fight the police officers. So I'm saying that to say this: police officers have a job.
They do. And like Ms. Rhea said, they do want to make it home.
If anybody think it's right to pull their hands away when they're being cuffed, call in. I mean, because
some people feel like they shouldn't, and I feel like that's why they be on the more combative side. But some people just say, "Hey, I'm not going back. I got a lot to lose," so they try to do everything but staying there, being detained, actually figuring out what's going to go on.
Todd makes a great point.
So-
Some cops' kids are like preacher kids.
Very true.
You know,
Yeah, that
and that's what I was gonna say. Like, call my dad. You know what I mean? You could have calmed down, going back to what Brittany said, and we need to keep reiterating this over and over again.
Listen.
You could have easily been handcuffed because they're gonna pull you to the side, like, "Hey, man, what's going on? Is there anything we need to know?"
Yeah.
And like, look,
do you got a gun in the car?
right?
Yeah.
Do you, and I do. I got a gun in the
He
car.
may
You know
have
what I mean?
asked that
Like,
before, but they may have been
Listen,
already out the car,
no,
but they technically supposed to
We
ask
didn't
you
see
that.
the whole thing, and that's the whole thing. So what I do know, and I've been through this with not me personally with a pistol. Do you have a gun? Yes, I do. Is it registered? No, it's not. Who it belong to? My mother. Do your mother know you have your pistol? She always keep her gun in her car. I'm driving her car.
Right.
Listen, this is what we need to do. I seen this on 6 Mile Southfield. What's the name of that little community over there?
Rosedale Park.
Rosedale Park. He was like, what we gonna do is we gonna go see, is your mother at home? He said, yes. If this is your mother's gun, we're gonna give her back her gun. We're gonna give you a ticket. Okay? Now, if your mother not home, you going to jail.
Right.
Period.
And a lot of times people don't realize it's about the money.
Yeah.
Like they want the money. We want to give you a ticket so the city can prosper off of your dumb ass.
Exactly.
So y'all paying y'all taxes.
So I want to go back and rewind when we talk about police brutality and police. I'm having a day. We listen and we do not judge. Like everybody, apparently.
Police.
I don't the police. The police. We got a car.
So funny.
What you got to say about the police? Hello?
Good morning, Dorian.
Good morning, Dorian. You've been summoned.
Yes.
Namne Horengekyo.
I would suggest, for young black men.
Are you in an Uber helicopter?
Say what?
Are you in an Uber helicopter?
Am I in an Uber helicopter?
We hear all the air. We hear the air coming through your window, brother. That's all.
No, I'm actually at the airport. I'm leaving the airport to drop somebody off. But no, I would say try not to put yourself in a position to be cuffed. Police police officers, first of all, they're court officers, right? They work for the court, but they're revenue officers. So they're out here seeking. It's like talking to a pit bull, right? Its only job is to bite you. And they're never here to protect you. They're never here to serve you. They're the proverbial, what we like to call the mess cleanuppers. They're like janitors of streets, right? They're really here for the wealth. They're really here for anybody who has money. Now, with that being said, don't put yourself in a situation to ever encounter them. When you're riding, I used to tell people, you're going to be in the suburbs driving your car with no insurance on it, make sure it's clean.
Right.
Right? If you're going to be riding around in the city and listen, weed is legal. So is alcohol. But you can't do neither one while driving. You should know this after 21 years old.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
There's certain things that we must understand that these people, this goes back to the slave trade. This goes back to the slavery of what we call the Runaway Act, right? The Runaway Slave Act. And that has been instituted and has been the reason why you have police departments to this day.
Right.
So you're working against an oppressor at all times. Respect that oppressor because he has the law behind him. Now, rule of thumb, I don't speak to the police. I don't have a conversation with them. When I used to, that's how I ended up in cuffs, right? But what I learned as I got older and doing what I'm doing, I encounter them a lot more than I need to. I often don't, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I realized, like, I don't have to appeal to him. I have to appeal to the judge.
Right.
To the people who's going to accuse me. So why am I even having a discussion with a person that doesn't even know law? He's not trained in law. He's trained to be a pit bull. He's trained to be it's like trying to have your dog be the runner of the house and he's going to set the alarm. He's going to pay the bills. No, he's not. He doesn't know anything. He just knows that one thing. So why are you having a conversation? You should never put yourself in a position but my man that got beat up by officers and his dad is a detective. It's how you move it and who you move with. Why do you need to carry a gun? I ask people that often in the city of Detroit. Why do you feel like you need to carry a gun? I'm not against them, but why do you feel like what have you done?
Well, the one
someone feel like
right. No,
I need to because listen, if you're going to be carrying anything, wear your bulletproof vest.
Well, it's a catch-22 at that. For one, we're going to say allegedly have a gun because there was nothing in that video that stated that the young man had a gun.
No.
So we're not going to say that he had a gun. We don't know. Just the person who was on video said that they had a CPL and they had their gun on them. That was only mentioned. So we're not going to back that statement up. The second thing is
allegedly. Right.
It's allegedly, and I am a CPL holder. I'm a single mom, and sometimes I carry my gun because people like to take your shit. Like people like things that ain't theirs. You know, I walk into several rooms and people love on me, but I've also have walked down the street
and people hate on you,
and somebody tried to take my chain. You know, because they just wanted it. Wow. You know, so
but truthfully, but the gun on the door that. Even by them taking your shit, you do not justify you shooting them.
I know,
especially not in the back.
Not in the back of nothing. If you having a fight, you can't even pull out a gun.
I know,
so because your life is not in danger.
Yeah, quote unquote. But however, that person had to have a gun or some type of weapon in order for you to shoot them. What I'm saying is, dealing with that situation, I wasn't insinuating that he had a gun. It was
Dorian had just said it too.
No, but
I just wanted to make it clear because it had been stated twice.
And also, it was reports to saying that it was he put a gun in a paper bag or something. Mm-hmm. So what I was saying was the reason why that guy was saying, and he really wanted to say, "Oh, I got my CPLs and I do have my gun on me." Right. He was saying that so when y'all find whatever y'all find, don't come for me. That's what he was really saying to me. That's how I took it. Go ahead, Dorian.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like Miles is saying too. Why you cannot use the weapon in any other manner than self-defense.
Absolutely.
You're not the law enforcement. You have to count for every bullet like they do. You have to justify every situation. So, and for people, what kills me is for people who hate the police, they show enough cosplay as the police, and then don't have the same reasoning for even carrying a gun. I get it. Women, listen, practice some judo. Stop being on the cell phone when you out and about. Keep your, as I would say, keep your head on the swivel. Keep you some mace. Keep you something sharp. Because in most cases, if someone's trying to rob you, hey, go ahead, take it. They got to be close enough to you in the first place. And then a lot of times, my sisters, y'all be in the wrong place at the wrong time most times, because that's what entertains you. The danger part.
Well, that's a whole different subject.
Yeah,
I don't want to
because I
get
thought
off
we should
the
be
police comment.
It's subjective.
But
Dorian, you on your own, nigga. Go.
But I will say this to any woman outside, and then we're gonna get back to the topic. I am a Taekwondo brown belt holder. I do have a CPL. I do keep my head on the swivel, and I also stay in the city so I can stay alert. But I am a mother of a young child, not so young as he used to be, but the past 10 years it's just been him and I was responsible for protecting two people. And people see you when you're trying to put your groceries in the cart, or put your child, or take them out, or put your child in the car first. You're always vulnerable. So I do not have any issues with any woman protecting themselves and making sure that you have the proper tools to protect yourself. And I'd rather take my chances with my pistol. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even carry my gun that much anymore now that King has gotten bigger. Because I don't want anything to spill over on him, because it's my job to protect him first. But when he was small,
you think about that sister that was in Chicago, and her son, she was out with her son, and the guy got into it with her, and her son came in and blasted my man with her gun.
I did see that. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I had promised my son when he turned 13, he will start to learn responsible gun training, because everybody needs to be trained.
Yes.
And it's not just out of fear. Just like we're sitting up here and we're talking about the rules of the responsibility of carrying a weapon. People need to know that. But I want to get back to the subject when we talk about the effects of it in the community. Going back to rewinding again.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Dorian. Have a great day.
Peace.
When we go back to talk about,
I'm putting a church finger.
Yes.
If for people want to really get deep into depth on what's going on, you can always go to mappingpoliceviolence.us. Mappingpoliceviolence.us. It shows you these certain situations and cases what's going on in the cities where it occurs the most at.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mapping
police violence.
Mappingpoliceviolence.us. We talk about effects of police brutality, and the year King was born, so it probably was 2011. That was Trayvon Martin. So for me, I believe that I'm not going to say we had a break,
right?
But now we're in the social media phase of life. Where everybody has a camera. Everybody has video
of something,
and I just had this baby boy, and I turn on the news and I see the most precious face of this child, who was killed because he had a candy bar in his pocket. And that's when I think it started to affect me the most, that I was a boy mom.
Exactly. That reality hit you.
I mean, in the sense of, here's what I tell everybody. Children, when we was coming up, like, Shanny and people, Brittany would tease us, right? But when we was coming up, protection of a child was everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go to the store by yourself. You, Dante, and somebody, all three of y'all can go, but you can't go by yourself. But it was.
But y'all was all 5. Said 3 5-year-olds.
You see what I'm saying?
But with a list, and they knew what to do, and they come right back.
No, we was 8 or 9. But what I'm saying is, my mother trusted me in the Philadelphia streets before she trusted me in Detroit streets.
Absolutely.
And the only reason was because she knew the streets there, real tough. And she knew I was not slow in the sense of I knew odd numbers, but took you downtown. Even numbers brought you back home. You feel me? Because it was numbers. 9th Street, 8th Street, 7th Street, 6th Street. So my auntie stayed between 7th and 6th Street. So if I took the 8th Street bus, walk 1 block.
You sound right
you know
here.
What I mean?
Yeah.
So it was easier for me to get around. However, in Detroit City, we still had some form of love for thy neighbor. I mean, the people at the store was like, hey, what Miss Jones want? You know what I mean? And I'd be able to tell them, and I only got $4. Don't worry about it. Tell Miss Jones to bring back the other 2. You know what I mean? We had that form of camaraderie. However, we had to still remember there was the foreigners who was just moving into the neighborhood.
Right.
So they were nicer. You feel me? They wasn't so familiar. You feel me?
To begin with.
And
then we brought on our own hate, and that's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
So when they seen how we treated ourselves, they thought they could treat, hey, what's up, my nigga? No, you can't say that. You feel me? I'm just saying, bro. So I thought we was all cool. We are, but this is your, you know what I mean? So the owner of the Pier to Market, Paul, it was really a market in the beginning. Then it became a party store.
Right.
Then it became a liquor store. You know what I mean? So it went through the transitions. And if we could just think about those transitions, almost every store in our neighborhoods were markets. They had something there that resembled a market: fruit, vegetables, food.
Did the police beat that? Because did that? It's like
No. We was talking about the community, and see
the effects.
The way the community is affected on how police treats us.
Absolutely.
And so if
I can agree.
I said before, police got so many codes when they roll in the neighborhood. They were like, look, that's a 182. Be careful. You know what I mean? They got codes for people who have mental issues in that area. You know what I mean? And some of those areas are known people who do stuff. You know what I mean? It was one guy. His name was I'm about to say Jacquees. His name was like Jack something. But he was known for spitting on police officers and stuff like that.
I feel like a lot of the narrative is already made for the kid. Like when they see their parents go through things with the police, that already frames and shapes their mind on how the police is before they actually get their own assumption or, notion of what an actual police officer is. And not all are bad. They only see the bad part. So that's what they're automatically going to associate police with. So I feel like that's a big thing that does affect the families and the communities. Like when the parents go through their, situations with the police, they don't understand that the kids are seeing it, whether they're younger, they're older. The traffic stops, them getting pulled out in handcuffs, detained. So it puts a fear in the child of those police officers, and every time they see them in the neighborhood, instead of going and embracing them, they're shying away from them. They grimming them. They already have this hatred towards them, and then it's like that just grows as they grow up.
Right.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
But one thing for the Alpha or the IGN, which is King's generation, like I said, Trayvon Martin was 2011. No particular order, but think about how rapidly he seen police brutality. Sandra Bland, Filippo Castro, George Floyd. We went on a 13-year rampage, or let's say from I can't say if we slowed down or not, but the amount of people that was killed by the police since King has been alive is about as many people as I've seen killed by the police since I've been alive. With the exception of Malice Green and Rodney King. It got out of, you got the young lady in her apartment, she got blew to smithereens because she called the police.
No, because she called on Jesus.
Oh, she called on Jesus.
Yeah, she said I can.
I remember that.
No, not the lady with the lady with the
I rebuke
not the lady with the pot of water. I'm talking about the young lady in her 20s.
I ain't know about that.
This was during the George Floyd. This was while we was in COVID.
Wow. I ain't know that.
Yeah, she was calling the police to get help. I mean, we had a domestic violence situation where even though the girl went after her boyfriend with a knife, I don't know why you would do that. But instead of pulling out the tase, they pulled out the pistol. You know.
Yeah.
She had a knife.
Right. But she wasn't going after them. I know, I get it. But I look at my 13-year-old son and like he's seen all this imagery. We didn't see that.
No, we did not. However, by the time we seen that, we was older. So we learned and we took in how to comply and or how to feel that danger out. One thing I know, the more we talk about it, the things is going to come towards us, right? Even with this situation. So when tomorrow, if somebody was getting put, but 1 or 3 of us get put up by the police, you know, we got to remember the things that we're talking about right now. So I just urge the people that's watching us, still remember what we're saying, still remember to be at ease, still learn how to listen. Why are they pulling you over for? And keep your mouth closed. You know what I mean? It's okay.
And teach your children, because I believe, honestly, like my son's generation is more desensitized than afraid.
Yeah.
From what they've seen, and on top of the fact, the violent video games, like shooting and killing, regardless of what uniform you're wearing, has been a part of our psyche now, our community. For the past 5 years, you don't see anything but violence on social media, and it's rapidly increasing every day.
Yeah, when you see videos like that, like we get angry, but like you said, it's more desensitized. We're like, oh, okay, another beating or another shooting or stabbing. So when we see those things, or when people laying out in the street, we are able to see those things and not feel any type of way, because we're like, oh, okay, just this again. Like you said, that imagery.
But I think people were waiting, including the camera person, for him to be killed. You know what I mean? Like people are seriously sitting around waiting on what the outcome of horrific
Because if you hear what he said, man, they killing my brother.
Right.
They killing and they just trying to get his arm behind his head. They tased him twice, and it had no effect on it. He must have been on something. I'm sorry, adrenaline flowing or not, but my 200-some pound ass would have been zipped out. And luckily, it wouldn't have killed me. What I'm trying to say is, it didn't take 3 punches to the face for me to put my hands behind my back.
No, and it shouldn't. And the one thing that I know the conversation in my home is going to be is like, I want my son to die an old man.
Well, I know that's right.
And I want all of you to die as old people, male and female. So that rah-rah time
is bye-bye.
Now I was going to go back to the parent response to that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to embarrass my son unless my son, and that's what you be wondering, is the son is already an embarrassment. I mean, I know it doesn't, the way social media runs with things, like I seen 5 different posts saying this hoe ass police officer, because he's the one that shot the unarmed dog.
Who?
The kid's father. It was
he the one who shot the unarmed dog.
Why was the dog's arms in the first place?
No, for real.
But the dog was he jumped the fence, and the dog was on a leash, and he killed the dog anyway. That happened like the year before last.
Wow.
But it was a dog. I mean,
hold on. I'm gonna say this: was he running in a drug house?
I don't know where he was.
So they do that if they running in the drug house, because that dog can get loose and attack. I mean, I've been through a whole lot in my life, and I've seen a lot. So when if he jumping the fence and he's going into a house that they're about to raid up, that dog gonna get it, pop, and they gonna keep going through that door. And so these are the things I need to know, the whole scenario. That's why I be telling people, even if no matter what that man did, and I say he was an embarrassment, he just imagine. It's like a child who you are a scholar, but your child don't know how to read or write. You know what I mean? That's embarrassing.
Right.
Regardless of what I done, he done, and again, it probably is more to it.
But I don't know if I would have made a statement. I mean, because people on social media. No, but I don't think this was. He wasn't making a statement towards like the news. No. It's people jumping in his DM thinking that you got a right to check me about my son. Like, did you see the video of your son? Like, I'm trying to work.
I'm sure he saw like everybody else.
You know, like I seen it. Like y'all keep tagging me. You know,
I feel like he answered it in a good way because, like you said, had he not said nothing, it would have been a thing. Had he would have said too much, it would have been a thing. Yeah. So he was just like, hey,
as a law enforcement officer, his captain or somebody probably said, "Hey, listen. Here's what they could have had they press people
they
say, hey, somebody respond to you, just do this," and he probably just only responded to that because people don't understand all this shit is still is business,
right?
I don't care how nobody say it's still all a business. They got PR people too. Yeah. So he probably was notified, hey man, your son just got caught, blah blah blah. Send this out. Because you know they coming for you, and they probably got somebody training him right now on what to say on camera, unless he's seasoned enough to do it.
Now I'm asking a question, and anybody want to call in, you can answer this as well. During the time of George Floyd's death, they wanted to defund the police. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Dumb shit. To defund them means not give them the finances they really need to do their real job. Mm-hmm. Like, people don't understand. I don't know if you remember, Detroit had a whole bunch of police cars that did not work. Mm-hmm. They had a whole graveyard full of Detroit cop cars. And it was like, well, I mean, their shifts were so scandalous to where it was just really hectic in Detroit. And then Ford Motor Company donated a lot of their cars to Detroit Police Department, and I believe Chevy or Chevrolet, who made the Camaros or whatever,
Chevy.
Okay, they donated to the state police because people have to remember. Yes, Michigan is big, but it's a lot of motherfuckers don't pay taxes,
right?
You know what I mean? State or federal. There's a lot of people do scams on their taxes. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that's going on. I mean, the reason why the whole mortgage thing went messed up because it was people from Detroit. I mean, let's face the fact. Detroit started the whole mortgage implosion. So we got to really be careful on what we say and what we do because people do not like Detroit. Mm-hmm. They don't, because we was the first and we the most spoiled groups of people you ever met in your life.
And I think that is one of the things that affects the community.
Yeah.
When you see this young man act in this manner, I do not suggest that anyone act in this manner. And if you think he was right, we have to, it was like, we were talking about children when they are able to speak freely, right? So, about 11:15 last night, I look up and King is still up and walking around and making hot pockets and shit. And I'm like, I asked you to go to bed. And he like, but and I said, King, go to bed. I don't give a damn if you starve. You know what I'm saying? Because he had been on this video game, pop, shooting them up and everything. But you did everything you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But now it's time to go to bed. And he went to say something the next time. And I said, look, don't open your mouth. There's a time and a place to speak. This is not your time or place. Mm-hmm. Say something again.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially
you know what your mama say. Say something again, and then you're like, you finish your sentence. But at that moment, he knew, like, let this go.
But can I say something about King? Shout out to King. King, you all right with me?
He all right with me too.
Listen, but we do set our children up for the greatest contradictions in the whole world. We're like, why you don't talk more?
Exactly.
I know, right?
Exactly.
I know, right?
Then they talk too much.
Yeah. That's my life.
But at the same time, but that's what I was saying. Sometimes we have to teach our children. The number one word I think people should always teach their children is listen. Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
Put a heart in my
Song
heart.
That's such a good song. No, I really be thinking that I can hit the note.
Shout out to Beyonce. But I don't even know if that song was even in the original.
It didn't fit. No, that song was written for the new one, but it really didn't fit the movie at all.
No, it did.
No, it didn't.
If you listen to
not as far
in her heart.
not as far as
You thought you made me.
no.
For the voice you gave to me. That was something.
No, seriously.
Okay.
But no, I really,
No, I'm talking about for the genre of music.
How's that going for the community?
It doesn't, but
How's that going for you?
But shout out to we have
great.
to teach our children how to listen first, because and listen. I don't care if
I'm sorry, I'm fucking up this mic.
That's what she said. So. Anyway, we gonna get fired.
Late ass button.
We gonna get that button was laid down. We like, and then the cow jumped over the moon. Damn it. So, but no.
To get to the other side.
Listening to have the ability and skill to listen is very important.
Yes.
Everybody do not have that skill. Everybody, and people just think it's a natural thing is supposed to happen, but that's hearing. But listening is a skill set.
I want to knock on wood because I think about it.
This press wood.
I know. Well, it'll work.
Close enough.
I feel like I'm past the age. I'm not gonna say past the age of getting pulled over, but you know, it was a point in time where my foot was just led. You know, I was just bobbing and weaving, doing what I wanted to do, and I wasn't thinking. I think before you say listening, thinking is first and foremost, because it's like, why am I going this fast? Why do I have to stop at 4 drinks when I should have stopped at 2? You know, or well, speak for yourself.
I know that's right.
After 2 drinks, they'd be like, I'm not drunk, officer. I know.
Okay.
I don't care what you want me to blow.
Look, can I what's your question? I've got a question for you. What's your minimum of drinks, if you speaking in shots, that you feel is your minimum?
6, 7.
Your minimum?
My
Damn.
I
didn't say maximum.
I don't get drunk until I get home safe.
Okay.
And then I'll be like, I'm drunk.
No, because your instincts kick in, so you can't really be like that until you get home.
So people think that.
Knock on wood. And my mommy's watching. What did you say? What was my
your minimum?
1? Mommy.
Okay.
The minimum drinks the minimum shots I'm gonna take is 4. You know what I mean? In most cases.
Oh, okay.
That's the minimum shots. And how many?
Max. How many I do on my birthday? 15. I don't even.
No. So minimum. It used to be 3.
Right. Okay.
Like, especially, I'm a tequila shot drinker,
Okay.
so I was like, you know, the first tequila. 2 tequilas, 3 tequilas, 4 tequilas. Like, once you get to today is tequila Tuesday.
Okay.
Once you get to 3
tequila,
of the right tequila,
okay,
then you can be easy.
Right.
Yeah.
I always.
It's
tell
time to
people,
buy a bottle at that point.
I have a damn show, especially if you go to somewhere that's high as hell. That's why I ain't gonna lie. I used to go. I remember Melissa called me. She said, "Miles, don't you take your ass to another gay bar." People keep calling me, asking me, "Are you gay?" I'm not gay because I'm at a gay bar.
He took me to the gay bar.
The drinks are superior.
Soho.
Right.
Yeah.
Soho is the shit.
They 95% liquor.
And they $4.
And they never question our sexuality.
Yeah.
They never do. They don't worry about that.
They don't worry about how you look, what you dress like, are you funky, whatever.
If you can dance, they don't. They just
like,
want to have a
what
good
you
time.
want.
Yeah.
And the friend Rita Mosley had turned me on to the spot. She said, "I'm going to karaoke." She ain't telling me what it was. No.
Yep.
She told me she was going to karaoke, but that's the second time I went there. I was too embarrassed to tell somebody I went there the first time. Right?
Yeah, they got it.
I just was in Ferndale, I was at Como's, right? And I seen Little Mouse. I'm like, let me get the fuck out of here. I just want to go drink.
But you're gonna have coffee, gas station coffee.
You
but
see what I'm saying? Pick your poison.
But I walked in, and this is families and communities, y'all. So, we're talking about police brutality. But I walked in, and I was like, damn, this nice, cool, quiet spot, right? And the lady, I didn't recognize where I knew her from, but she said, "What you having, sweetie?" I was like, I don't know what you got. I said, "How about vodka cranberry juice?" I said, "How much?" She said, $4. I'm like, cool. I'm thinking she about to give me a little.
Yeah, no, like I said,
12-ounce bottle.
She put the juice, a splash of juice right on top.
And I was like, I said, "This is $4." She said, "Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday." Yeah,
that's why I do drinks.
I said, "I'm coming." I said, "I'm coming tomorrow." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I had 3 of them, and I was like, then I started looking around. I was like,
"Where?"
I said, "This is a gay bar." She said, "Gay as hell." I said, "Oh." Okay, well, she said, "You don't have to leave. You don't have to rush." They know. They definitely know you're not.
Yeah,
you're not the one.
I was saying, then some of these people you're not even seeing no more. You just going to do you and to get a vibe, and you know you and your sexual preference.
Yeah,
so.
I'm very comfortable who I am.
Yeah.
Are we switching the subject now?
No, we're about to go. Hold on. So we're about to go into police
My little brother just texted me. He said his first shot of tequila was before. Because of me. Because after the tequila.
So, but the police in Ferndale is different when it comes to black men.
Why? Because they.
Oh my God, them up, boy.
Are they nice? Or, I mean,
they were swooped. Look,
no, it's the police in Warren.
They not calling one car.
They calling 3.
They 4. Yeah, 3, including the one that pulled you over. And it's like, if you over 5'5", you getting the phone call.
Oh.
You getting that phone, you be sitting there like, I was like, bro, is this really necessary? No, we just gonna make sure you're okay. Would you want to escort me to 8 Mile? Motherfucker told me you gonna make sure.
Yes, when they hit the top of the hood and tell you to hang tight.
Oh, that's you hanging tight.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, all right, just hang tight. Oh shit.
But I suggest, the rabbit hole always begins with your L's.
Yeah.
And when you talk about conversations to have with your children, I constantly, if my son will ever drive, this is a whole different world. Like, he's not excited about getting behind the wheel. He's excited about being able to call drivers. Like, I can't wait until I get my own Uber account. I go wherever I want. Like,
I got more tickets with my license than I got tickets with not having no license.
Well, you were more careful, probably.
No. I'm talking about, I got pulled over more times without my license than I did with my license.
I don't understand what you just said.
Meaning,
pretty much when he was driving dirty, he didn't get pulled over. When he got his license and he was legit. I
got pulled over more without my license, and I never got taken to jail, but one time with driving with no license. I got taken to jail 3 times with my license.
I think you said the same thing twice, 2 different ways.
No, that's what I mean. Let me verify. When I drove with my license, I got pulled over. I went to jail 3 times.
Tone said, so we need to go to he said, I ain't say we. He said, so go to the gay bar because the drinks are
cheaper.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, that's
definitely as a female friend of his, because he wasn't trying to impress me. That's exactly where we met up. Like, if I'm gonna buy you a drink, it's gonna be a $4. Like, you ain't giving it up at the end of the night. You about to get fucked up. Like,
listen,
you ain't gonna get you this fucked up and you going home unless we go to the gay bar. You ain't gonna get nothing, and neither am I.
Yeah, it's a vibe though.
Listen, it's the whole truth. Long Island iced tea in a regular bar, $10, $12, and sometimes $15. In the gay bar, $5. And
they fill it up. And you only need one.
And I go with women, so it ain't like I'm walking there with a bunch of bros. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I go with women, and
I go with the men.
And going back to having your license, though, make sure you keep your L's clean.
Yes.
Because it is a rabbit hole.
It is
all I'm saying.
I don't know what you're talking about, but the people that I know, it's once you don't have your license and you get pulled over,
That's
it's
the
just
first
ticket
step.
after ticket after ticket. Now you can't get no insurance. Now you getting a ticket for not having insurance. Now you got tickets. Now you don't want to pay your tickets because paying your tickets costs too much. But now you can't pay your tickets because they want you
It's
to do
just
some
a
time.
loophole.
Because now you got to go sit down for the weekend if
Have
you
you on
ain't
the
paying your
weekend.
on the
See you on
weekend.
Monday.
So the first time I learned, I said, "Well, I'm in jail. I got they took me to jail on Friday, and I was like, oh shit, I'm about to get out." I said, "Hey, look," I sat down in that cell. Oh boy said, "Oh, nobody come get you. They don't let nobody go in Oakland County
Yeah.
till Monday morning."
Yeah, when the judge
Till
comes.
Monday morning.
Yeah.
Monday morning. I said, I can't. I said,
I
hey,
can't
look.
do this.
And back then I was cocky. I like, not me. Shit. Monday came. Nate came.
And you
They
were
was-
there?
They was like, come on. Let's, he said,
Let's just go.
I said, let me drive. He said, nigga.
Excuse me, the disrespect, and I just came up here, and I got
I
you.
said, all right.
I've never been in jail.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
exactly. And I feel like you said, like it starts with the L.
It's definitely something else.
If you have all your stuff together, I feel like half of the fear wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Not saying that you wouldn't be scared at all, but if you know that your stuff is legit, you won't fear.
But now
You
it's,
don't, because my whole thing is if your tail lights is working, if your license is good, and you're not speeding, what are you getting pulled over for?
well,
essentially.
that sound cute.
No,
If you-
but
if
really,
you-
I mean, driving while black, which is a thing.
Driving while black is
yeah,
a
that's the thing, but
But to your point, right?
Exactly.
Like your chances, if you're doing right, your chances decrease. That's all she's saying.
no,
You know,
chances do decrease, but one thing will help a lot of black men and women is the fact that now you know when if you don't have insurance, they know. Because
Right.
before
You could give them-
you could just give them that piece of paper, be like, yeah, okay, you cool. But now, no, they know your ass don't have insurance.
Right.
well, yeah.
No,
It's all in the system.
Yeah.
Hold on, because
It wasn't a system. It wasn't a computer system. You just
Because I
had.
mean, you always had to have insurance. I just thought.
No, I mean,
No, we got fake papers. Like people, like
Y'all are funny because I just always make sure my stuff was. I don't know.
I knew people who was selling
Because
them
I'm always
the
I do know
insurance
people-
certificates.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is like they're easier though, because you just run a piece of paper off, and then when they came out with the first online insurance people, what was the name? Esurance.
Insurance
What happened was all you had to do is print out a piece of paper with your your insurance on it, and then after a while they're like,
But before, in between
That's
those
wild
two,
work.
like you would go. What was
Morning,
the
Jim Animal.
What is the insurance place that's on every corner? Like,
oh boy, and them that's on 7 Mile and
but you would just go
Everything is on 7 Mile.
You would just go in and get the insurance for the week.
right, not for the week.
No, it's like for a 7-day
For the 15
insurance. Listen,
And then you
Just
just,
to get
have
the
that
car.
just to get the paper.
yeah.
So you had to have the legitimate paper because it started changing the fonts or whatever.
Yeah, but not no more.
But
Because y'all trying to get off on these
now,
people.
now I'll
Get-
tell you
get
this:
off
when
on
you're
them.
talking about
Yeah.
not so much the brutality of officers, but how it affects the community. Now, I'm in the era of people I know are still in jail for having weed.
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
It depends on the
they
amount.
pull over a guy right in front of our house, him and his homeboy. Now, one of the guys was in the back. I guess he was rolling a blunt, and the other one was driving. So they pull up in front of the house. The police, 2 female officers, one extremely aggressive. So
Of course.
my family, like, okay, we're gonna sit on the porch
And watch.
and watch just to make sure these 2 young brothers are safe. One end up having a gun. And they like, you got anything else? He like, I got my weed. She pulled out the biggest weed bag and put it back in the car. And I'm like, as a community, I'm like, am I behind?
Yeah.
And my dad like, oh, that's legal. The gun's not. You
see
know,
what I'm
'cause
saying?
I'm
That's what
like,
I'm saying. It
he
just
going to
depends.
jail. He was like, no, he was already going to jail when he admitted he had the gun. It wasn't the weed, but I'm like, he had like a half a pound. And my dad's like, well, it's not broken down, so he not doing it with the
Intent to sell.
Intent to
sell,
yeah.
right? So I still am in awe about the amount of weed that officer, and they was like, just put it back in the car.
Yeah.
I'm like, go get my friends. Go get my friends right now. Like every last one of them.
So do you think that they're
ounce and shit.
Do you think
My
that
house,
the
a couple of
census
dimes.
change?
Huh?
Do you think that the sentencing change?
Well,
Because it's now legal.
For guns?
No, for weed.
Yes, change.
I don't even know what the census. I mean, how many?
I'm talking about people that were in there prior to the law.
Oh, you said if they decrease their no. What you would charge for is what you got to do your
That's so
time.
unfortunate.
Now, there's probably some people trying to fight to overturn those charges, but
There's some
by the
people
time
who
they
have-
get them,
It's some people who have won that situation.
yeah.
I would fight it.
I mean, if you have the money
lawyer.
or
They
the
don't
money to get a lawyer,
so they don't appoint you one.
So what y'all need to do is go to Legal Shield, or just call me and they get y'all a new Legal Shield.
now is you say they don't appoint you never want a court appointed attorney, and that's another thing.
You don't, but I mean, if it's between not having one and having one.
Represent yourself. They both work for the prosecutor.
Yeah, exactly. That's so it's like
that's a whole different. And that's another thing with people when we talking about going down the rabbit hole. When you don't have the money to fight those tickets to get your license back and you can't afford an attorney, you just putting yourself in a bigger situation where you feel like you have a fight in this race, and somebody just put the words politics up, and it's like so political on so many different levels that a lot of people like myself don't even understand, but I do understand how to stay out the way, especially when you don't understand the law. That's why it's crazy to me for old boy to be screaming, call my dad. And you thought that calling your dad was gonna make a difference. Like, they don't even know, you know. He didn't even say the name of his father to the officers. You know what I mean? Like my dad is detective such and such and such. Like, call my dad. Like,
I would have been like, listen, man, I'm not gonna lie. Me and these chicks, we hanging out. My father's a police officer. I mean, if you can step to the back of the van, you can handcuff me while I talk to you. But my father is already a detective, and right now, I mean, these chicks, we partying.
Right.
Me and my brother do have a CPL. You know what I mean? And he be like, okay, look, man, why don't you just take your punk ass wherever the fuck you going,
right?
And tell your dad to give me a call. You know what I mean? Because he gonna owe me one.
And to your point, young drunk people. It's something different. Like, we don't know what they all look like. They look right. Her
eyelashes coming off.
That who me?
No, her.
But it was all confusing to me to scream out, "I hate black people." I'm like, I sure thought she was black.
She was drunk.
Like, you drunk as hell. Like, you could have just said cops.
Yeah, stay simple.
At that point.
So we have Jim Animal.
Yeah, Jim Anamino
from the Muscle Gang.
Yeah.
Everyone should know their rights and the laws. Who is his name? John Q.
Yeah.
John Q.
Okay, the laws that have life insurance. He also said, yo, Dr. Ruckus, when are you detained versus arrested?
Oh, that was an argument yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And he gonna call his lawyer a cousin. His cousin basically said, in the law's eyes, it's detaining. And as you as a person, you're being arrested.
Okay.
And so I said, that's what I'm saying. We could think all the fuck we want to. We didn't make up these laws and rules.
Right.
And we are not fighting for them to be changed. I don't know not one person right now that's in my life who's been to Lansing, to our capital, to try or fight to try to change laws. So
that is so funny that you said that. And this is just a sideburn. Hope you're in and paying attention. So I posted something about Neo, which could be another situation at another time. You know, somebody in the comments came in and said, I'm so tired of black people talking about things that doesn't concern them. We need to talk more about politics and what's going on, this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, it's crazy to me how black people always telling other black people what they should be talking about while they're not fighting to change laws.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk to me about politics, politics, for one, I will always say your job is going to be to school me because I am not versed in that subject matter. So you're not just going to talk me to death about what's not being done, because I can admit I'm not a part of it.
Right.
But if you're talking about what's not being done, please add what you are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you actively doing to make a difference? Because at least I know I use my platform to shine lights on topics that people need to hear and talk about.
Right.
And we always got a seat for you. If you're going to Lansing and you're a part of the change, please come sit with us, because some things have to give. Some things have to give.
You just gave me a whole new thing to look at. Thank you very much. Like, and remind me. I'm about to text myself to remind, because I forget because I'm older. But I will say this. I used to always say that because I was with the whole Nation of Islam movement for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when they was beefing in the streets, they was doing things that the police couldn't do. You know what I mean? They was protecting two sides of the people that was beefing families. You know what I mean? What you doing?
I know what you mean.
Why you looking like that?
It's like,
anyway, I'm sorry.
You look like you're getting your lines from your phone and you lost your place. So
no.
you lost your place.
I hate you.
I know.
So no, seriously, and it was protecting. It was a beef between some 7 Mile people and Schoolcraft, and someone went to other teams and shot at the people, parents coming out the house, and they went over there to protect them, and they went on to the other side to protect them too. And I thought that was the dopest shit I ever seen in my life. Seeing 100 black men walking down the street protecting the crib,
right,
with no guns.
Well, one of the things when we talk about 100 black men, and it's still here, you know, men, they called me. That means they're out of men.
Damn. I mean, you got a brown belt in Taekwondo.
I mean, well, they say women are there to support or whatever, you know, but I think it's craziness. Just like that young man going through whatever he's going through at the gas station. Mm-hmm. There was supposed to be organizations set in place that was dedicated to making sure that those black men were heard as well when the police are rolling up to them, that they will have father figures and things in our neighborhoods, because most children don't have fathers. But the thing about our community, it has to be ongoing, like during COVID when we had this multiple lives lost, that people want to do something. But now that it's quiet, we're not protecting that quietness.
We're not protecting our children.
We're not protecting them. Everybody's like, okay, now we can go home now. It's cool. They ain't shot nobody in a while, so we don't have to be out here running the street. But then it would be nice if you did, because that's why you created your organizations, and you said that was your point in doing that.
Right.
So keep it up.
Shout out to the men like Dr. Calvin T. Mann and Jason Wilson, who's out here fighting every day for the young boys to become men, fathers, and husbands. One thing I like to say, shout out to Calvin, about a majority of his boys that he mentored are husbands and fathers, and I gotta say that's something the Boys Club of America just don't do. And
it's something that needs to be done and needs to be focused on.
Yes,
it's nothing better than to hear my son and my godson say that they want to be a husband and father when they grow up. And they say they want to be a husband first. They always say, I want to be a husband and father. And these boys were raised by single moms. But
that's why they say it, though.
Well, no, they say it because
it's instilled in them.
They also are able to see what their fathers aren't.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean, but they have relationships. You know, my son's father is in prison. You know, my son ain't fighting the police. He like, unfortunately, he wants to be a police officer.
Well,
I told him we was gonna move to Idlewild. He could do it there. He could do it in Baldwin.
Population of 12,
right? Like we moving to a podunk town that got boiled peanuts. Somewhere where they only need one officer.
Idlewild is the opposite direction of Ohio.
Well, I could boil peanuts up there. It's boiled peanuts are really easy to make.
Did you know Toledo, Ohio was part of Michigan?
Was it at some point in time? Yeah. And then what happened? We gave it up because it was trash. I mean, what is this point of this fun fact?
The point of this fun
fact.
Make it fun. That
make it count.
We ain't that far from losing our shit neither. That's what I'm saying.
Ain't none of us. And that's another subject for another day. Because I will tell you guys, I've been talking to a few people about the blight situation in our communities, and you guys, include myself, buying property and not finishing the job. So when they come take your multi-mansion and you still got
Actually, they gave it back to him. They no longer
because the community came together to help him clean that shit up.
Right, because the police brutality over there would have affected them families.
Right. Well, he thought they was being brutal by giving him the tickets that he deserved to get.
Yeah.
Like, they brutal. Like, no, we've been telling you for 5 years to clean this shit up, and you didn't clean it up.
Right.
Like, but that's a whole different subject.
But he was going through grief.
You see them 5 new cars in his driveway? Well, Google it. It's an aerial version. It's.
When he was going through, his son died.
Okay, listen. The year I had King in 2011, my grandmother died 6 months later. During that time, I had a side job working under the table for a guy who ended up turning in my social security number, telling unemployment that I was working for him as well.
Wow.
When I wrote a judge, I told her I lost my job. I just had a baby and my grandmother died. All in a matter of 2 months. That judge said, that's not my problem. You broke the law.
Right.
We will find you 5 times what you took.
Damn.
$3,000 I got fined for $18,000, and it was my responsibility to pay those tickets. There was not an appeal on earth because at the end of the day, I broke the law.
Right.
And it didn't matter what was going on with me. No. And I didn't have 5 years. Not saying that losing a child isn't and being sick isn't an issue, but I think people need to stop forgetting that the law is the law. And a lot of us don't know the specifics of laws and how many. I gave this example to a friend of mine. I got cited for blight in my backyard. I had a land bank house that I rehabbed all the way by myself. I used every dime I have, and then you run out of money. I have not and still have not been able to get my backyard cleaned up. And I've been in my home for 3 years, but my home is livable. So when you're starting to live and you're doing every day, people die and you get sick. You forget that you have a job that's unfinished. When people come to my home, they compliment me about how well of a job I did on the house, but the grounds is still trash. Right. I received my first blight ticket. I got it reduced because I claimed ignorance, but this is my first offense.
Gotcha.
When they come back the next time, and I haven't cleaned up, that ticket is going to go up. When they come back the third time, that ticket is going to go up. By the 5th time, they can take my shit because that is the law.
Yeah.
You know, so nothing against, and I wish people will rally for me and come over to my house before all this go bad, before I lose anybody. Help.
Well,
anybody want to come help me?
Let's go rally.
Save my house.
Well, let's rally the podcast crew.
Right, like because we always wait until we get into that bad situation, and then we want to tell everybody all the excuses.
Exactly.
But for somebody who's struggling to pay their car note, I said, there's some mighty fine cars they got in that driveway. I'm sure a plow could have been rented for the amount of that Tesla. I mean,
say something.
And then you're not. Apparently, if it's 5 cars in the driveway, you're not just living in this bitch alone.
Right.
Exactly. That's true.
That looked like a young person's Audi. You know, young people love them some Audis.
Say the young people, yeah.
Young people like anything that don't talk back to them. Hey, y'all, so let's
no structure.
Thank y'all for joining us today.
I almost shit in my pants. Like, okay.
like
literally.
Anyway, hey, y'all, listen.
I would bite on the paper.
So, speaking of running off, we about to get out of here in a minute.
That's crazy.
We about to get out of here. So, listen, Lake, why don't you have a cleanup party? I think that'd be dope.
You know, I'm tired of asking people for shit.
No, I ain't saying
You know what? Because if I have a cleanup party, people gonna be like, "Oh, I should do one too," and I'll be first on the list. So for every, I just threw one cleanup party. Now I got to be a part of 5.
Right.
You know, I don't like that. I don't like that exchange.
Oh, you talking about? Because they come to you?
Yeah, because she gonna have to return a favor somehow.
And then when I say no,
not you the bad person.
I just want to pay. But if anybody want to make like $200, $200, I got 200 right now today.
Right now,
Take a picture of your backyard. I'll be there in a minute.
the city already did. I can send you their copy. Okay, guys, this is the Rise and Grind Morning Show. I will be back here Tuesday, but the Rise and Grind Morning Show will be back tomorrow at 9:15-ish with some dope people like Talks with Todd and Brittany and the Shanny Shan and the Yellow Man.
And we got a couple of special guests. I think we got Bruce coming aboard tomorrow.
He will come on a day.
I'm sorry.
I'm funny though.
At hell. I think Omar Good might be on with us.
Okay, you'll never want me to meet the important people.
Say just now.
They really watching the
Just random people.
No,
I come to work.
I think it's just Todd. Todd just attract the greatest people. That's all. That's all.
On that note, you guys have an amazing day. This is Daddy, I love him. Goodbye.
Peace.
I pray that my love for you is bigger than what my parents have.
So you must be my daughter's new friend?
Candy, let me ask you a question.
Oh, so this him? This the man that comforts you more than me?
All men ain't like daddy.
That's not fair!
So I'm gonna be like Queen Latifah and these bitches set it off. I ain't risking my life for no $2,000. You got $1 million in the hood. Somebody gonna fuck around and rob that motherfucker. You see a bitch, then smack a bitch.
Rise and grind, morning show at 9:15 a.m. Monday through Friday, great conversation, guest appearances, 'cause you